The Director of Public Prosecutions is to consider whether or not to refer the 14-year sentence handed down to John Paul Wootton for the murder of Constable Stephen Carroll to the Court of Appeal, on the grounds that it may be unduly lenient.
His widow Kate, who yesterday described the jail term as disgusting, has welcomed the move. Jane Lockery has this exclusive report.
Kate Carroll is still angry at the 14-year sentence handed down to John Paul Wootton for the murder of her husband, Constable Stephen Carroll. The 21-year-old from Colindale in Lurgan was almost 18 when the officer was shot dead. His co-accused, Brenton McConville from Glenholme Avenue in Craigavon, received a 25-year term.
He was man enough to go out and do what he'd done to my husband, so I think he should be man enough to take the consequences of being a man. And he was totally defiant. He didn't show any remorse whatsoever, no compunction whatsoever. And indeed, whenever we were sat in the court, we were listening to evidence where he said, a cop is a cop. As if, you know, a policeman was just a piece of dirt. Bang, that's it, leave it. Roadkill.
Kate was also upset to learn that in England the recommended sentence for the murder of a police officer is 30 years, while in the south the minimum term for the murder of a guard is 40 years in prison.
If it's good enough for the police in England and good enough for police elsewhere, why not Northern Ireland?
Then at lunchtime, Kate Carroll received a phone call to say the Director of Public Prosecutions is now considering whether or not it is appropriate for him to refer John Paul Wootton's sentence to the Court of Appeal on the grounds it may be unduly lenient.
I was actually delighted, you know, because it needed to be done. And as far as I'm concerned, everybody that I've spoken to today and even yesterday afternoon, the same outcry, you know, that they thought that the 14 years for a life is dreadful.
In a statement, the Lord Chief Justice's office says sentencing decisions are made within a sentencing framework which will have been set by Parliament or the Assembly. The issue will now be debated at Stormont next month.
As a party, we're raising this at all levels. We'll raise it at Westminster. We have a motion to be debated here in the Assembly on the 11th of June, calling for a review of sentencing for the murders of police officers.
Particularly concerned that it has sent out a wrong signal, as Mrs Carroll has said, particularly to younger people who might want to become involved in such a heinous crime as murder.
Kate Carroll hopes to meet the Director of Public Prosecutions, Barra McGrory, in the next few days. Jane Lockery, UTV Live, Banbridge.
And to have your say on whether there should be a fixed minimum jail term for anyone convicted of killing a police officer in Northern Ireland, go to our website where you can vote in our poll or leave a comment. That's at u.tv.